the air I breathe. You are the air I breathe. Your holy presence living in me, and I'm grateful for you, and I'm grateful for you. You are the air I breathe. You are the air I breathe. Your holy presence living in me, and I'm grateful for you, and I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for you.
Good.
Go wherever you need to go.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Hey. Well, we're getting the all clear. I don't want to brag, but I was one of the first people about 5 months ago who said we're going to be getting through this COVID pandemic and we'll be without masks by August. I said that. All right. So that's a great, wonderful thing. And we don't have to wear masks when you're seated here. But we would ask you, if you're going to use the bathroom or going into the lobby or something, wear your mask. There are probably some people that are still very concerned about people not having masks on. And we have a great picnic, indoor picnic coming up after this service. So you can join us in there for fellowship and conversation. Is there anybody here from another unity somewhere else? Anybody here for the first time? Oh, you're here for the first time. Okay. Well, I'd like to welcome you to Unity of Boulder. We are an all-inclusive community. And so we enjoy the all-inclusiveness of it, allowing everyone to live and let live. We actually believe that the ultimate religion comes down to live and let live. What's beyond that? It's not so hard. So, and we enjoy doing that. And so I welcome you today. You're surely going to enjoy this talk that Santisha is going to give. And I want to welcome all of you for coming back a second and third time. And so enjoy this beautiful new day.
Good morning, everyone. I also like to welcome you to Unity of Boulder. I got a few quick announcements before we get going here. Santisha's book group, it's a woman's book group, is starting this Tuesday. There's a few spots left over, so if you'd like to join, you can sign up for it with Heather in the bookstore following the service, or you can call us this week to see if there's any spots left, but there probably won't be. At $60 registration for the whole 5-week class. It meets on Tuesdays from 6 to 7:30 p.m., so sign up for that. Next Saturday, we're asking volunteers to come join us. We're going to go out and weed the garden and kind of clean it up. If you've never been out there, it's a great way to introduce yourself to the garden. It's one of the most beautiful, best-kept secrets here in Boulder. So that's 10 a.m. next Saturday. So I'd say bring a pair of gloves if you're going to come join us, help with that. And I'd just like to clarify a little bit about what Jack was talking about. Our restrictions have been almost entirely taken away. Our guidelines have changed. actually starting today. Once you're seated, you're welcome to not wear a mask. If you still like to wear a mask and you feel more comfortable with that, absolutely do that. That's not an issue at all. But we do ask that you wear a mask when you're moving around, just kind of like how we do it at restaurants, when you're getting up, going to the restroom, or going from this room or in the bookstore. But once you're seated, you're welcome to be comfortable. There's plenty of room, so if you'd like to stretch out a little bit, get yourself off into the sides where you feel spaced out, that's great. But we're very pleased with that. And outside of that, that is all. Thank you very much.
One, two.
La da da, la da da da, da 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 da.
If this life is one act, why do we lay all these traps? Put them right in our path when we just want to be free. I will not waste my days making up all kinds of ways to worry about all the things that will not happen to me. So I just let go of what I know I don't know, and I know I'll only do this by living in the moment, living my life, easy and breezy, peace of my mind, peace of my heart, peace of my soul. Wherever I'm going, I'm already home. When I'm living in the moment.
Myself off the hook of things I've done. I let my past go past, and now I'm having more fun. Letting go of the thoughts that do not make me strong. And I believe this way could be the same for everyone.
And if I fall asleep, I know you'll be the one who'll always remind me to live in the moment, living my life, easy and breezy, peace of my mind, got peace in my heart, got peace in my soul. Wherever I'm going, I'm already home. I can't walk through life facing backwards. I have tried more than once to just make sure, but I've denied the future I've been searching for. I spun around and searched no more. By living in the moment, living my life, easy and breezy, peace in my mind, got peace in my heart, peace in my soul. Wherever I'm going, I'm already home. Help us out, guys.
I'm living in the moment,
Fall through
living my life.
I've done. I let my past go past.
wonderful way to start. Thank you, all of you. We had a full group up here enjoying that beautiful music, and nice to see all your mouths and faces. Oh my goodness, this is wonderful. All right, well, I'm just going to start with opening with just a prayer to just make an intention for this 45 minutes together. Just close our eyes and get in the presence of this room and recognize that this is the holy instant, a holy moment. And as we enter this talk, we call in our spirit guides and angels and God, source, whatever word makes you feel connected and held and divinely guided. Recognizing that we can make a big shift in our life in this time if we make an intention, and the intention of today's talk is breaking free. And you come up with an area in your life where you're feeling blocked, feeling like there's stagnation and no moving forward, and recognizing that this moment you're making an intention to break free of whatever is holding you in limitation or a belief or a non-forgiveness that's keeping you repeating something that no longer serves you. And we're open to your love, Spirit, to move in and through us as we are breaking free. And we are an allowance. And we are ready. And we give thanks for this time in the name and the power of the living Christ within each and every one of us. Amen. So I had said that I was going to repeat a talk that I gave 2 weeks ago, and I have to tell you, I got to stop doing that because I can't pigeon-toe myself into a corner. I have to do what God writes through me, and I try, and I realize, Spirit works through me just like it works through you, and sometimes something's supposed to be repeated. You'll hear some repeated things from that talk, but ultimately, my goal for every sermon is the same, which is to get out of belief systems, words that we're sharing, limiting thoughts that we're holding that are keeping us from being the expanded version that God wants us to be. And, we've all been, dealing with COVID and masks and rules and work changing and family dynamics and school not being there, all these things that just uprooted our lives. And a lot of people, and many have shared with me, that they just wanted to see some semblance of normal. And I wanted to read a quote that Edgar Cayce wrote, who is the most documented psychic that ever lived. And this is one of the things that he wrote. He wrote, "We were with God in the beginning, and through choice and experience, we found ourselves cut off from a complete awareness of spirit. In one respect, the fall of humankind was really our descent in consciousness from the realms of infinity to those of time and space. However, this was not necessarily a bad thing or an erroneous choice. Just as a child learns through experience by making choices and even by making mistakes along the way, our own experiences will help our souls to mature, and the process will enable us to come into our full heritage and an awareness of our true spiritual nature." And everyone has had the fall and the rise. We've done that. We grow the soul, and we descend and we grow. So we do that through our entire lifetime. And some people talk about the late 20s and the Saturn return, and then the late 40s with the Saturn return. But it's happening all the time. And with women, it tends to be a really big one every 10 years. And with men, it tends to be a really big one every 15 years. But this particular time, with COVID, we all did it together. And what was interesting for many is that we had to go inside. We didn't have a shoulder to lean on. We didn't have our outlets to be with social friends and have a glass of wine and just spew all of the things that weren't working and get all the advice of the girlfriends and vice versa, men as well. And that separation called for a time with this greater power, this greater purpose in life. And now the call is to break free of that which we've been, percolating with, what's been simmering in us that we've really recognized didn't serve our life before this all happened. And breaking free to now make the passage or the pilgrimage to that which was being called for all of us. And collectively, I believe that was a heightened consciousness. that was called. And by us seeking within for the answers to find our peace and our joy and to visit this greater potential, which we call God or Spirit or Source, we were shown visions. We were given dreams. We might have found our emptiness. We might have, visited childhood issues with moms abandoning us, things like this. That, in that abandonment, in this time of quiet, you visited things that were cut and broken, and it's time to refill. It's time to break free of that old story that's been keeping you shut down from totally expanding before this all happened. And we all did it together, and we all did it in different ways, right? So when we look at the world outside of us, and all that's going on, it can look and feel very bleak at times, even still. But when you realize that you can keep yourself above this descent in consciousness by claiming your direct and divine connection with God, everything will change. Because we are community-oriented people. We tend to want to walk in groups because it feels safer, and we don't want to just walk as individual because we feel alone, and there's, you have to be kind of a leader to walk alone with God, right? But there are many groups that are going this direction right now. We see groups that are going different directions, and I agree with little pieces of that group, and I feel like I agree with some of this, totally don't agree with something in this group. And I think we're all walking around, well, where do I fit into what is going on right now? And it just feels turbulent, and it feels overwhelming because you don't fit into any of it. It's like some of it makes sense, some of it doesn't, and we're trying to find where do we fit into the group, which is an idea that we come up with as little kids, or even maybe taught to us once we get into school and try to find where we can be mirrored back that we're good enough, or that we're lovable enough, or that we mean enough. And maybe it's about finally asking Spirit to lead us beyond the borders of this herd mentality that wants to stay together with different ideas, when collectively, if we all just held this individualized reality with God and stay true to what intrinsically or instinctively or intuitively works for us, move from that intuitive truth, you're going to find that we're all going to come back together and there's going to be a greater picture. But right now it's that unraveling, and we're trying to find a group to be a part of. And many of us probably have found our group, like in our, usually when you have girlfriends or male friends, you tend to have similar philosophies. And so you do have in maybe your little nucleus of home and things like that, you have a collective to be a part of. But as the world is unraveling, we're trying to figure out how we're going to fit into that world. And maybe it's time for us to not fit into it. Right? Maybe it's time to start seeing the world that we want to see, right? That we all know you are the change you want to see in this world, but truly living that. What is the world that you want to live in? What does the planet look like that you want to live on? What is the practice that you're willing to take on a daily basis to keep yourself above the rattlings of lower nature and ego? What are you willing to do to grow this soul that is so divinely directed and called, but the universe has been in a holding pattern waiting for you to wake up? And that's when we break free of the limitations, the things of the past that no longer serve us. When we wake up to the fact that we don't have to carry all that baggage with us anymore. We are free. We always have been. But the constriction and the boundaries and the things that we're feeling that feel like we can't move forward is made up by us. And believing in the things that we see of the world that's saying to us that you can't be free. It's always up to us. And so what that comes down to is affirming, I'm free. Or I'm breaking free if you're feeling a little stuck, so that you need to show that I'm breaking free. Spirit, lead me on how to break that chain. to let go of that burden, to stop remembering the pain body that keeps me from surrendering to that which I am. To surrender to possibly forgiving something that you couldn't till this point, but that's been that one thing that's been sitting in your life that's kept you from being the expanded version of yourself. Or learning to surrender to something that you are saying, no, it's just not me. No, but maybe it's the surrender. And letting go of control. And getting out of your own way and stop affirming the things you did in the past that keeps recreating the life that you keep having. Letting this last year be a catalyst that you'll look back on in 10 years and go, I am so grateful. My life has been expansive and beautiful and a miracle moment after moment after moment because I allowed myself to break free of the chains that lived within my consciousness, and therefore I was adding them to the consciousness that I see out in the world, and so we're all still building these walls that are dividing us. It's easier to follow the group. Even though there's things, I like this, but I don't like this, and just following the group, when maybe you can be a part of the group, but not be of the group. You can be part of the group, but you're still growing yourself so that you're actually growing consciousness within the group. It takes some deep, deep awareness of what is being called for your personal soul's journey. So many people have shared with me that they felt helpless and frustrated at the state of the country or the state of their family or the state of their home life or the lack of a home life. And there is an energy that actually dictates and directs all of our lives. But if we've been too focused on all the discord of the world, we can't hear it. We can't listen to source. We can't find source moving in and through our individual experiences. And then if it is moving through us individually, it's moving through all of us, so it's moving in through us collectively as well. The oppression many of us feel right now is a calling for a waking up of sorts. It's calling us to be brave, to be more than we ever have been before. It's calling us to step forward through our fear, to move where one has never moved before. It is surrendering where you never surrendered before. It's speaking up where you never spoke before. It's knowing thyself, living from your potential and your power, and claiming it. No longer putting your life on hold and believing what we've been told we can and cannot do, and moving forward regardless. And that means we have to move through the fear. We have to move through something that we've started to believe is real and unbelieve it, unsee it, affirm something different, and watch how your spirit will follow it differently. Are you ready to receive this? Put your hand up if you are ready to receive the unfoldment. That gives me shivers. It's like, to see all your arms, me too. Are you ready to move into a higher frequency of consciousness? And all you have to do is put yourself in a state of welcome and allowance, which just feels free. Just say those words to yourself, welcome and allowance. That just takes all the burdens of issues going on with family and, work and bosses and illnesses, and I'm open and I'm welcoming the journey. I'm ready for this pilgrimage, and I'm excited. Spirit, I get out of my own way. I've done it my way, and that's gotten me to this stressful place. Now I let you unfold my life. I'm open to surprises. I'm open to miracles. I'm open to magic. Casey frequently reminded us that spirit is the life. Mind is the builder, and the physical is the result. In other words, spirit is the source of our lives. Our mind then focuses that spiritual energy into creative or destructive, positive or negative avenues of expression. The impact of our choices will eventually find expression in the physical realm, affecting our health, our lives, and our relationships with one another. So if mind is the builder, we have to be keenly aware of what we're putting in the mind. If there's something you want to overcome, if there's something that's been standing in your way from your power, like, I don't know, eating disorder issues or alcohol or shopping or spending money you don't have. You know, these are the type of things people go to when they feel out of control, like we felt in the last year. If you're ready to conquer the mind that kind of just said, well, this makes me feel better for a second, but then it doesn't make me feel better, then hold in your mind that I'm only a powerful being of God and I no longer need this. I release this. I release this from my life. I release this alcohol. I release these drugs. I release these things that I feel like I need to depend on to get through this situation, because you don't want to lose it, because if we lose things, we always find it. But when we release it, it's gone. At night, when you're going to bed, you ask God for that power that I'm releasing this thing, and I'm so grateful, God, and I'm going to wake up with an extra sense of extreme vigor to face my life without this thing that no longer serves me, so I can be so fully awake and alive and in love with my life. We have to stop clinging to the same things and releasing. And always moving forward. Always moving forward. Every day have something to move forward for. Making intentions at night. Asking God for dreams. And letting, animals. Every time an animal passes your path, you look it up. What does that animal mean? There's always something. Spirit's always trying to get your attention if you just let it. Numbers. Numbers are flashing. You're seeing a time on the clock. Look online, on YouTube, and like, what does 11:11 mean? What does 2:22? What does 4:44? All those numbers are spirit guides at different times, have different messages, and you will find out that you're constantly being divinely guided. But the world puts the blinders on us, and we lose sense of this third eye relationship with this sixth sense, the unseen realms that are just pouring down. Always connecting us and rooting us to the Mother Earth, who also gives us life. I was talking to my daughter, who's 13, and we have a little neighborhood girlfriend, and they both haven't been in school, so they've spent quite a bit of time together, so they get exhausted of each other, and they're kind of more like sisters at this point. And so every other day they're in a fight, and I have to figure out, what it is, what they've crossed, or what's the issue. And this one was another stupid one. I can't remember what it was this last week. And I was telling her, maybe, it's a cry for help. And she's just kind of being, aggressive with her words because there's other things going on in her life. And have you asked her how she's doing? Like, really asked her. Because this has been a hard year for everybody. And to recognize that you are a spirit guide. We all are for each other. And when people are aggressive with us, there is a need in it. There's something in it that there's a call for help from her. I said, and then when you ask that, just let it go. Listen to what she says, and then put it in God's hands. She's like, oh, put it in God's hands. I'm so sick of you saying that. It's so annoying. Put it in God's hands. Like, what does that mean? So 13, and I started laughing so hard because I said, the guy's just talking, however, the attitude. And I remember my dad talking to me like that, and I was like, that is so annoying. Don't do a spiritual talk on me when I'm just having an issue with my girlfriend or whatever as a kid. The look was so good, and it just took me back. It's like, yeah, putting it in God's hands is not exactly a concept she really can do at 13. But the neck whip, you were so annoying. I've had that all year too, on top of everything else, and it's been a gift, It's been a teacher. But in the end, Louise Hay says, I do not fix problems, I fix my thinking. Then problems fix themselves. I do not fix problems, I fix my thinking. Then problems fix themselves. There's a wonderful book that I've done sermons way back when on called The Surrender Experience. And it was also the same author that wrote Untethered Soul. These are two expansively amazing books. But the book is about this business that he built up, and it was a multi-million-dollar business, and some embezzling went on by people that he didn't know, and he was a Buddhist. This was a person that meditated every day. He even ran an ashram on the side, and just some corruption happened in this business, and next thing you know, the place is being surrounded by FBI and everything's getting phone calls. It's just covered in helicopters, police, everything else, and it's all pointing to him. And all he's ever done has been a peaceful warrior and built up people and made them success beyond belief, because this guy is a genius. And he talks about how he sat in the middle of that storm. And he could get caught up that he could be convicted for something he never did. The crimes would be things that he would be in prison for the rest of his life. And he just simply knew the only way to move through this is to surrender. That even in this, there's something that I am to learn. Even in this, there's some way I can let go of the fear of what other people did that I wasn't looking at because I was so trusting and so loving, that the universe is honorable. And I can surrender even in the midst of this. I have nothing to defend. Listen to that. This is very, very important, because we tend to make up a lot of the bricks that we put around ourselves is because somehow we believe we have to defend the acts of others or the judgments and the things that they've held and given to you and said to you. Because somewhere in us we believe there's something that is a little bit of what they've said or they have judged or threatened. When we get clear and we live in our true authenticity and honesty and beingness and know thyself, nothing can hurt me. Nothing can make me afraid. My good is here and now. It's all in the midst of me. So whoever is projecting that to you and giving you a sense that you have lost control and you can't regain the control is you saying that and believing it. And claiming, I am. The greatest words for God. I am free. I am healed. I am whole. I am mother. I am father. I am, you fill in the word, that reminds you that you are defending something that doesn't have to be defended when you believe in this greater power and this greater love. It's always working in and through you if you stop defending whatever is going on in your life and start loving everything about the soul that you are. In the book, he writes in Untethered Soul, no, he actually writes this, and I wrote this wrong on my notes. This is from the Surrender Experiment. All the beauty that happened out of that situation, he writes, they were the result of my letting go of myself. Little by little, the fabric of my life was composed of the results of my surrender. I was becoming surrounded by a life that had been built for me, not by me. In my wildest dreams, however, I could never have imagined where this was going to lead me. His life was being built for him, not by him. So if you're sitting here today and you're feeling like you don't know which direction to go, but you know where you are is not in synergy or in homeostasis or in a state of peace, then sometimes it's just a matter of surrendering. Thy will be done, God. Thy will, not my will. I've gotten in my way enough. But thy will be done. From Edgar Casey's perspective, he writes, too often we are out of touch with the intention, the why behind our everyday actions. For this reason, he recommended that we establish a spiritual ideal to live by. By consciously establishing a spiritual ideal like love, forgiveness, compassion, service to others, we can accomplish a personal transformation with soul development as the result. And each week you can make that intention. This is the week of forgiveness. I'm going to look at all the areas that I'm holding a lack of forgiveness for others, and probably more importantly, a lack of forgiveness for myself. And it goes the same way when I'm holding a lack of love for others. More importantly, I need to visit where I'm holding a lack of love for myself. Or looking for a miracle and just claiming it. Thank you. Those are the words that create miracles. Thank you. Thank you. At night, before you go to bed, thank you, Spirit. Thank you. And this is where faith comes in. In Hebrews 11, it says, what is faith? Faith means being sure of the things we hope for and knowing that something is real even if we do not see it. Faith means being sure of the things we hope for and knowing that something is real even if we don't see it. So for the world, for instance, like I was saying in the beginning of this talk, what do you want to see for this world? And know that it's real. Because you wouldn't be able to see it in your mind's eye if it wasn't possible. And innately from you birth this world that we can all hold in our mind's eye. And we all might have a different vision of that. Or faith that this thing that's been holding you hostage is going to become the vision that you've created of what you want to see, and know that it's real. And claim your divine heritage as a perfect child of God, made in the image of God. You are the expression of God. Source, Spirit, Allah, whatever word makes you feel held, because all the religions have a path that lead to God, and so therefore it is good. We don't go into separation. We hold all of it because we are all one. And when we can change our consciousness and see things differently, we are literally co-creators with the shift that is happening for the better instead of going backwards in time. In Hebrews 11:3, it says, it is by faith we understand that the whole world was made by God's command. So what we see was made by something that cannot be seen. Have you ever taken time to reflect on your life and witness when God was so present and so took over? When you didn't know what to do. When you look back, you have a time where you've reshared the story because time stopped. There was no human connection. It was a spiritual connection, and and somehow you ended up where you wanted to be, or even better than that. And you can't really explain what it was, but usually it was a breaking down. Usually it was like the biggest heartbreak of your life, or it was the loss of a child, or it was a divorce of a person that you loved more than life itself. And in it, at first, it crushed you, and it broke you. It might have even made you feel like you didn't want to be here anymore. Who's ever been at that point, at that threshold where you're like, I don't want to do this anymore. It's too hard. Like once a week? No, I'm just teasing. I'm super teasing. I don't want that to be the case for you. But then in that like lap of a sheet that's on the ground that's so broken and so done, you find yourself sitting in the emptiness. And before you know it, you feel the sense of being held. Feeling something palpable about this realm that we came from and are, but it's talked about so little in life and movies and, outer world and government and all of the things that we like in the world. How often do you hear them go, I just intuited that I was supposed to do this? Newscasters saying I was just like, I just got this spiritual hit, and so I did this. You don't hear that on the news. You don't hear people using this intuitive sense that's divinely in us, but also divinely built by us, and remembering who we are. Casey believed that prayer was talking to God, while meditation was listening to God. Both prayer and meditation are invaluable at reestablishing a conscious awareness of our spiritual source, while inviting God's will to work through us so that we may be a channel of blessings for ourselves and others. So to pray is to be speaking to God, which we know in Unity, we're not talking to a man in the sky, and we're talking to speaking to God and saying the things that we need God to change, and so that they'll come in. I mean, we might do it when we're like in an alley and somebody's following us. I mean, I still do that, but if there is this separate God, I might just call on you. But it's not the God that I work with, right? It's this sense that you're saying it because you're getting it out of you. You're praying because you're getting it out of you. When we talk to others sometimes about our griefs and our hardships, it reveals to us what we're actually deeply thinking from those words. And that's what praying is. It's really mirroring to yourself. You're speaking and you're like, oh, look at this dribble. I have been saying this a long time, and wow, look at what this has brought to me. And the universe will start to show you what to do as you pray. You're not stopping God to be like, oh, right now I need your favor. I need your favor. What you're doing is you're actually opening up to what is always available. You're stopping the mind chatter and the things of the world. And then you sit quietly into meditation. You might need an affirmation like, the light of God surrounds me. The love of God enfolds me. The power of God protects me. The presence of God watches over me, and wherever I am, God is. Sometimes we need that prayer to remind us of our divine heritage. To be reminded, to say that when you're going to bed, the light of God surrounds me. So when you're feeling this oppression of something that's happening in a relationship and you can't sleep because you're stressing out and you're waking up going, oh, my life. It's like, oh, thank you, God. The light of God surrounds me. Oh, thank you, God. The love of God enfolds me. So I'm going to take us into just a singing, chanting meditation. And just close your eyes and just let these words move in and through you.
We will take an offering for unity now. And as we're preparing to do this, I'd like to just say what an amazing thing to be able to do. Human beings come together and talk about the unseen that affects the lives we live. And as we get more and more in touch with that, how meaningful it actually becomes. It starts off with a lot of faith, but then we start to put it to work, and all of a sudden things are taking place that are miraculous. So we're really blessed to be able to do this here, you know. There's a lot of countries where you can't practice truth. And so we are really blessed. And just keep that idea in mind of our blessedness here to be able to do what we do. And I just want to remind you, because I know there's a lot of people who are watching this online, our tithes have been down last month, substantially now. So I just want you to be aware of that, and if you can help out a little more, great. Just send a gift in. There's different ways that you can tithe to Unity of Boulder. So let us now, with our COVID restrictions, bring to mind that financial gift we'd like to make to this ministry. And let's bless it with this affirmative prayer. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, because I give. And so it is. Amen. We have some guest speakers, don't I? Singers? You guys ready? Let's do it.
When the best of me is barely breathing, when I'm not somebody I believe in, hold on to me. When I miss the light, the night is stolen, and I'm slamming all the doors you've opened. Hold on to me.
hard to talk after that. That's such a beautiful song. So we want to let you know that we have prayer partners available to you. Actually, we have one prayer partner available to you, but you can stay seated in the sanctuary. We have other people that will find you. They'll take you down to our beautiful meditation room, and you can speak to God, and then you can sit in the presence of someone that's going to mirror back all those beautiful answers and the beauty that happens when we pray with others. My women's group starts this Tuesday with Cassandra Speaks, the book, and you can register in the bookstore after the service. We only have a couple spots left. And today we're going to close. Did you want to share something?
No, I've done all I can possibly do.
So we're going to close. I just found this beautiful song, and I just thought I'd let you leave just watching this beautiful father-son singing just powerful words as you leave. So you just have these wonderful affirmations. You have so much good music to have move in and through you. And if you're joined with us on Facebook, we always post all the numbers that we shared during the service so that you can keep it with you and let it, remind you of what it stirred up in you at the sermon. All right. Thank you for coming. Love you all.
Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders. Let me walk upon the waters wherever you would call me. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith will be made stronger in the presence of my Savior.
You call me out upon the waters, the great unknown, where feet may fail. And there I find you in the mystery, and oceans deep. My faith will stand.
Your grace abounds in deepest waters. Your sovereign hand will be my guide. When things may fall and fear surrounds me, you never failed, and you won't stop now.
Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders. Let me walk upon the waters wherever you would call me. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith will be made stronger in the presence of my Savior. Spirit, lead me. Spirit, lead me. Spirit, lead me. Take me deeper. Take me deeper. Take me deeper into you.